let's get the next series of jurors in here.
And everyone, as we're bringing in the next series of jurors, every once in a while there is a freezing of the screen, and behind the scenes some of our technical people are working on that to try and get that picture back for you. So if sometimes you'll see this, you'll just have to be patient because we are working on it. It's one of those things that a technical bailiff obviously would have to do in a real trial where we lose a picture of a particular juror. Even though they may be hearing it, they need to be able to see the evidence as well. So with that, I think we're bringing the jurors back in. I'll turn it back over to you, Judge Hastings.
Did we lose juror number 37? He just went off the screen.
I don't know. I'll double check with our
Okay.
technical bailiff to find out about that.
Hello, Judge. He is having some technical issues. Therefore,
Okay.
we're still working on him. We'll try to see if we can
Okay.
get him on for Group 3. One moment, please.
Thank you. He was having technical issues to begin with.
While we're paused here and while the other jurors are going to be coming into the room in a minute, I wanted to mention a couple things that we have to, because over the past few months we've been getting a number of questions about representation and about different things that in terms of how does whether a juror has technological capabilities, whether that's going to be affect the representation of a jury. And that's why, again, as I said earlier, we think that the courts need to be working with some of the technology companies in their areas to provide equipment and also to provide training, because obviously, as you can see today, there's a lot of technology involved and a lot of things that can glitch along the way. So there's one of the things that we're also saying with courts is that there has to be training even with jurors prior to them getting right online so that they can handle some of these issues themselves if they come up during a trial. So that it's not just a matter of showing up on your phone or on your computer one day and then you're starting to pick a jury. There has to be some training involved. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Judge Hastings and the attorneys.
Okay. So far we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that the extent of it, Irene? Is that going to be? Are those the last? All right. Well, welcome.
Hello, Judge. We are ready.
Okay. Welcome. We're going to now speak to you people, and I'm going to be using your juror numbers. Juror number 22. Have you ever served on a jury before?
No, I've been called twice, but never served.
Okay, and what is your occupation, if any?
I'm retired from Safeway stores.
Okay, what did you do at Safeway?
Manager, district manager.
Very good, thank you. Do you think you can keep an open mind in this slip and fall case until you've heard all the evidence and heard the arguments of counsel?
Well, I was involved in several slips and falls as manager, store manager. So.
Yeah, I figured you probably were, and I think the attorneys are probably going to follow up with some questions along that line. Do you think the fact that you were involved, though, do you think you can keep an open mind here?
I think I can, yes.
Very good, thank you. Juror number 38, welcome. Do you have an occupation?
Yes, I'm a barber.
Okay. Have you ever served on a jury before?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Do you think you can keep an open mind on this matter until you've heard all the evidence?
Absolutely.
Very good. Okay, juror number 40. Do you have an occupation?
Yes, I am a product manager.
What kind of product?
I work for Amscan, and we develop products for Party City Retail.
Okay. Have you ever served in a jury?
No, I have not.
Do you think you can keep an open mind in this case?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you. Okay, juror number 26. Do you have an occupation?
Yes, I do.
And what is that?
I am a sales clerk at Santa Monica College.
Okay. Have you ever served in a jury?
No, I have not.
Do you think you can keep an open mind on this until you've heard all the evidence and heard the arguments of counsel?
Sure.
Okay, good. Juror number 5, do you have an occupation?
I'm retired, a retired IT consultant.
All right, well, maybe we could have you stand by if we need it. Have you ever served in a jury?
I have.
And I don't want to necessarily know what the result was, but did the jury reach a result?
Yes, they did.
Okay. Do you think you can keep an open mind in this case until the matter has been fully presented to you?
Yes.
Thank you. Juror number 33, do you have an occupation?
I'm also a retired IT systems management, project manager.
Good. Have you served in a jury?
Several.
And on those several juries, were results reached in each of them?
One was we couldn't reach a decision. The other
So
three
you did
we
have
reached a decision.
So you did have, did that bother you that you couldn't reach a decision in the case?
It did initially. After the trial, the judge talked to the jury, and he felt like we did the best job possible given the circumstances of the defense attorney, who was court appointed and just simply not prepared.
That was the criminal trial, I think.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you think you can keep an open mind on this case, a civil case, until all
Yes.
the evidence is in? And very good. Thank you. Ms. Hayes, you may inquire.
Thank you all for being here.
My apologies. We are adding another juror. One moment, please.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hold on.
The missing. This is the missing juror 37. One moment, sir.
Okay. Okay, we're waiting for one more juror to be added, ladies and gentlemen. We lost him during the last round, so he had some technical difficulties.
Hello, sir. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
we lost him again, so we're just going to go ahead and proceed. Thank you.
All right. Well, we've lost him again, so go ahead.
This
Ms.
is juror 37. I can hear.
All right.
Yes, we do not see you on webcam. Are you back on?
Okay.
I have no video. I just can hear.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we'll note you're there. You were the forklift operator, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we'll
You're
show
welcome.
juror number 37 here as well. Go ahead, Ms. Hayes.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to start with juror number 22. How long did you work at Safeway for?
44 years.
Okay, thank you. And what training, if any, did you receive at Safeway about preventing slip and fall?
We had constant training for that. And basically we just made reports out, inspected the area, talked to the people, and submitted it to our Human Resources Department for follow-up.
In your experience at Safeway, can you give us an idea or an estimate of how many slip and fall incidents you investigated?
Probably 3 or 4.
3 or 4 during your entire time there?
Yes.
Out of those 3 or 4 cases, what did you conclude? And you don't have to give specifics. Did you believe the customer, what they were telling you, or did you have some doubt in what they were reporting?
As I recall, 3 of them were no problem at all. The 4th one went to trial, but they were settled just with paying the medical expenses or whatever. It didn't really matter who was at fault, as I recall. Most of them were in the produce department, of course, because of the water.
Okay. And did Safeway have any type of surveillance footage that you were able to go back and kind of corroborate what was being reported to you?
No, not at all.
Okay. What about the policy and procedures of Safeway for keeping the floors clean? What was their policy or procedure if they had one?
Well, of course, it was a constant thing. As far as moisture or anything, that would be taken care of immediately, or a breakage in the aisle. And there was basically sweeping the whole store with a dust mop about every hour. So that was the policy.
Clean the floors every hour?
Dust mopping them, yes. And we had.
Did you have a? Go ahead.
We had danger cones, you know, in case there was a something fall off a produce rack or something like that.
Did you have one employee assign the task of that hourly sweep mop, or was that sort of everybody's responsibility?
Well, it was whoever was there at the time, whoever was scheduled. Mainly it was a what we called a courtesy clerk, a part-time clerk.
Okay. Was there any sort of document that they'd have to, like a sweep log, that they'd have to indicate what time they swept and kind of initial that?
Yes, there were sweep logs.
Call Taylor. She's calling. Call Taylor, Gary. She keeps calling.
Got some feedback, I think, from Juror 37. Are you there, Juror 37?
Yeah, I can hear. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Let's see. Sticking with you, Juror 22, hearing what you've heard so far about this case, that it is a slip and fall at a retail store, would you kind of be in favor of the store, given your history of being a district manager at a Safeway? Would you kind of be a little bit more skeptical of the person bringing this type of case?
I don't know. It's kind of strange in a Walmart or a Walgreens that there would be a problem, you know, in the aisles, but there might have been some breakage or something. I think we were pretty fair in settling the cases as we went along.
Okay. You don't have the initial gut reaction that, you know, the customer's lying or they're just trying to make a quick buck?
No.
Thank you. Does anyone here kind of have that initial gut reaction when you hear a slip and fall, a lawsuit against a company that, you know, kind of raises your red flags?
No.
Number 37, if you speak, we can't see you, but if you would have an affirmative response, let us know.
Okay.
Okay, apparently not. Go ahead.
And I believe you were all able to hear our questioning and answers in the last juror, so I just kind of want to go through and, you know, get your thoughts about what you have heard so far, and anything you want to comment on or, you know, may have wanted to address, but it wasn't your turn, so to say. Let's start with juror 38. Thank you. Hi, sir. Anything you've heard so far from either side's questionings or answers that, you know, you felt strongly about or wanted to comment on?
You say either side's questions?
Yes.
No, not really.
Okay. How about juror number 40?
I did not hear anything from the past year. I was in
Yeah,
the break session. I didn't hear anything.
yeah, me neither.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, me
Since
either.
you weren't able, thank you. Since you weren't able to hear, I'll just ask the same question. It's kind of, how many think that there's too many lawsuits today? And I think I saw juror number 5's written questionnaire that you had indicated you believe there's too many lawsuits these days and the money awarded by jurors is too high. Can you tell us your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think if possible, like, I don't remember his juror number, but I think a lot of things can be settled out of court and probably should be if possible. And that's my only reason to say that there are too many lawsuits. And as far as settlement, that's a tough one for me. I see so many, maybe it's just the big ones in the news that bother me when they're in the hundreds of millions of dollars, when I think it's too much.
Thank you. Do you have any feelings or thoughts that because this case didn't settle and now we're here at a trial, that my client, the plaintiff who brought this case, may be starting off with a strike against her, or you may be a little biased towards her?
No, not at all.
Okay. Juror 33, any thoughts on there being either too many lawsuits in our country or verdicts being way too high?
I don't think that they're too high, and I have no opinion on either one of those subjects. At least no opinion.
Have you ever been a party to a lawsuit?
No.
Either a plaintiff or defendant? Okay, thank you. How about juror 26? What are your feelings on, either too many lawsuits in the United States or verdicts being too high or too low? Oh, I think you may be muted.
Here,
Let's test it. Nope.
There you go. I'm pretty indifferent about it. I think it's a case like this.
Okay. Juror, back to 38.
Yes.
Any opinion on, whether there's too many lawsuits in our country?
No, I don't think it's too many.
Okay. Juror 22?
Yeah, I think there's too
Feelings
many.
on-
I think there's too many, but they have the right to do it.
Okay. What about verdicts? Do you have any thoughts on, whether verdicts are too high?
No.
Juror 26, you're a sales clerk at Santa Monica College, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Are any part of your job duties or responsibilities keeping the area around you clean?
No.
Not sure how much time I have, but I'll keep going until I get stopped.
about three more minutes.
Okay. How many of you feel that when you go into a store, grocery store, Target, any type of store, that, the environment around you should be kept clean, and that's the responsibility of the store?
38.
Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you Looks like everyone's kind of nodding their.
Yeah.
Number 33.
Does anyone?
Number 30. Yep. 22 and 5.
I got it. How about 37 on the phone?
Yes, I believe they should have main responsibility for keeping the store safety-wise, clean and so there's no accidents.
Okay. And I apologize, when I was going around, I forgot to ask you, number 37, about how you feel about lawsuits in our country, if there's too many, or you don't see any issue.
I don't see really much issue because if somebody gets hurt, they have that right to seek damages.
Okay. And how about verdicts being too high? Any thoughts or feelings on that?
No, I think they coincide with the law, pretty much.
Okay. I think that's my time, Your Honor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Friedenthal.
Thank you, Your Honor. Juror number 22, you spent a long time at Safeway, right?
Right.
Were you in the store toward the latter part of your career, or were you more in the corporate office?
I was district manager for 12 years. The rest of the time was basically in the store.
Looking back on the time that you spent exclusively in the Safeway stores, and knowing how far technology's come, do you ever say to yourself, boy, I wish we did have store videos?
They did have them later on.
When you were out of the store?
I never had a thought about it, at that time. So, but they did have videos later on.
Gotcha. And you understand that Safeway runs a different business model than Walgreens, correct?
Correct.
All right. And would you be critical in this case if it turns out that the evidence is that the protocol for cleaning floors and things is different than what you experienced at Safeway?
Well, there's quite a difference in the size of stores, for one thing. So.
Right. What difference, just knowing that business? What's the main differences what are the main differences that jump out to you?
Well, in Safeway, you have the produce department where you have water to keep the produce fresh. You have produce that can fall on the floor and cause a slipping, like a grape or something. So, with Walgreens, you don't have quite that many problems.
Right. And if it turns out that the Walgreens procedure was to sweep in the morning, and then throughout the day, everyone was responsible for looking out for spills and for cleanliness issues, would you have a problem with that?
No, not at all.
Okay. Just the questions for the group at large. And do any of you feel that you tend to favor an individual who is suing a business entity like Walgreens?
No.
Okay. Do any of you feel that the plaintiff, because she's come this far, namely a jury trial, that she's necessarily entitled to something if she doesn't even prove her case? No one? Do any of you believe that the plaintiff should get something at the end of this case in terms of liability finding or money or something of that nature just because she's participating in the trial for a couple of days? Does anyone feel that way? Do any of you have a philosophical problem of having her receive nothing at the end of the trial, if that's what the evidence supports?
No.
Okay.
No.
Have any of you had any, you were asked earlier whether you were involved in any other trip and falls. Have any of you just fallen down before? Not playing sports, but just walking, falling down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Number, yeah, go ahead.
33.
Can you hear me? 33, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
I did not fall, but just for due diligence here, my wife, my ex-wife, 10 years ago, fell at a Neiman Marcus over a portable clothes rack. We did not sue. She was hurt, but we didn't pursue it. Just to put that on the record there. That's not going to affect my judgment in this case.
Have any of you just clumsily fallen before, either wearing certain shoes or just not paying attention to where you're walking? Does that ever happen? Any of you?
Yes.
Is that juror number
Yes.
38 and 40?
Yes.
Yes.
They tell me, and
33 also.
all right. Why don't we start at the top, at least on my screen, number 38. Tell me about when you clumsily fell.
Just walking through the house, tripping over my kids' toys.
Okay. You actually tripped
That's
over
the hazards of
something.
being a father.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. And you didn't see the toy there. Is that right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir, that's true.
Okay. Juror number 40. What was your clumsy moment?
Well, I'm always clumsy, so I'm sure I have fallen down somewhere. Given the fact that I don't pay attention when I'm walking, or perhaps the shoes that I'm wearing. I'm sure I have fallen plenty of times, but I never proceeded into taking any
Did you
any
fall in
action on
public,
it.
or did you fall in public, or was that?
I'm falling in public plenty of times, yes, but nothing severe.
Okay. And were you embarrassed when you fell?
Of course, of course, of course.
All right. And juror number 33, you had your hand up as well. That was your wife, right?
I thought everyone had fallen. I sprained my ankle once when I stepped off a curb. I stepped off the set of stairs. I missed the last stairs. I've fallen, yes. No big deal.
All right. And you took ownership when you fell, correct?
I'm sorry. You're breaking up in my hearing. What did you say?
I said when you fell, you assumed that it was your fault and you took ownership of that fall. Okay. Have any of you seen or heard anything thus far that makes you want to favor one side over the other?
No.
Do all of you realize that thus far you've heard no evidence whatsoever? Okay. You have you don't even have an idea as to what the law is yet, do you? That you will apply to the facts, right? Okay. We all wait till the end before you come to any conclusions?
Right.
Okay. That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is we're going to put you off into outer space while the attorneys and I talk things over, and we will then bring all of you back, including the other two panels, and let you know who is on the actual jury, and then the rest of you will be placed and be able to watch the trial anyway, and we'll probably be down the line asked about your impressions of it as well. So if you don't get selected for the first 12, your impressions are still going to be important.